States was, well, just a collection of states. Each state had its own way of doing things, and honestly, money was a big problem. People used all sorts of different coins. There were English shillings, Spanish dollars, and even French coins were seen in circulation. This was really confusing for everyone. Imagine trying to buy bread, but the price is in one type of coin and you only have a different type. How do you know if you're paying the right amount? This system made trade difficult, and it was hard for the young country to grow its economy. The leaders of the new nation knew they needed to fix this problem quickly and create a single unified currency for all citizens. Leaders like Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton, they had some big ideas. They wanted a money system that was simple and logical, so they looked at the systems used in Europe and decided on a decimal system. This means the money would be based on the number 10, making it so much easier to understand. A dollar would be worth 100 cents, and a dime would be worth 10 cents. This was a revolutionary idea at the time, and it made doing math for business much easier. No more complicated calculations with shillings and pence. This new system would help the country's businesses grow. It was a symbol of a new, organized and independent nation, ready to make its mark on the world. So, the United States needed its own factory to make these new coins. This factory would be called a mint. In 1792, Congress passed the Coinage Act. This law was very important. It created the United States Mint. The first mint was built in Philadelphia, which, at that time, was the nation's capital. The law said what coins should be made, what metals to use, and even what images should be on the coins. The coins were to have a symbol of liberty on one side, and on the other side, there would be an eagle. These symbols were chosen to represent the freedom and strength of the new United States. The need for American coins was about more than just business. It was about pride. It was about showing the world that the United States was a real country. Having your own money was a powerful statement. It showed independence and made it clear that the U.S. was no longer a colony of Great Britain. Every time a person used an American coin, it was a small reminder, a reminder of their new nation and the ideals it stood for. These first coins were not just pieces of metal. They were symbols of a new beginning. They were the building blocks of a new national identity, carried in the pockets of every citizen from farmers to merchants. The first United States Mint was a busy place, filled with the sounds of hammers and melting metal. The first coins made for circulation were copper cents and half cents, and these appeared in 1793. The very first design for the 1-cent coin showed a figure of liberty with long, flowing hair, now called the flowing hair cent. On the back, there was a chain with 15 links, representing the 15 states in the Union at the time. But, some people didn't like the chain. They thought it looked like a symbol of slavery, not freedom. Because of this, the design was quickly changed to a wreath instead of a chain. This shows that right from the start, the public cared a lot about what their money looked like. Making these first coins was not easy. The machines were powered by horses or by hand, and it was hard work. The metal had to be melted and rolled into flat strips. Then, circles called planchets were punched out of the strips. Each planchet was then struck by a die, a metal stamp with the coin's design carved into it. A heavy press would slam the dies together with the planchet in between, stamping the design onto the metal. In the early days, each coin was made one at a time, so no two coins were exactly alike. These small differences make collecting early coins very exciting for people today. Soon after the copper cents, the mint began making coins from silver. The first silver coins were the half-dime, dime, quarter, half-dollar, and dollar, first made in 1794 and 1795. They also used the flowing hair liberty design. This image of liberty was meant to look like a goddess of freedom, representing the spirit of the new country. On the back of these silver coins was a small, thin eagle perched on a rock, surrounded by a wreath. Modern collectors often call this the scrawny eagle. It was not a very powerful-looking bird, and like the cent, this design would soon be changed to something more impressive and grand. The early coins of the United States tell a story of a nation finding its way. The designs changed often, and the quality of the coins got better over time. The mint learned from its mistakes, hired better artists, and built better machines. These first coins are very rare and valuable today. Not many were made, and even fewer have survived in good condition. They are a direct link to the earliest days of the country. Holding a 1793 cent is like holding a piece of history. It is a small metal disc that was there when the United States was just beginning its long and exciting journey, a tangible artifact from the nation's infancy. As the United States grew, so did its coinage. The early designs were replaced with new ones. In 1796, a new style of Liberty appeared, called the draped bust design. Liberty now had her hair tied up in a ribbon, and a piece of cloth, or drapery, was draped over her shoulder. This design looked more formal and classical, based on a drawing by the famous artist Gilbert Stuart, the same artist who painted the famous portrait of George Washington. This new Liberty appeared on all the copper and silver coins of the time, showing that America was becoming a more mature and established nation, moving past its initial, wilder days of revolution. The eagle on the back of the coins also got an update. The small, scrawny eagle was replaced by a new, large eagle, called the heraldic eagle. It looks like the eagle on the Great Seal of the United States. The eagle holds a bundle of arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. This symbolized that the nation wanted peace but was ready for war. This powerful image was a much stronger statement for the young country, and it appeared on the back of most silver and gold coins for many years. It was a design that clearly communicated the nation's strength and its core values to the rest of the world. The number of coins the US made also changed. For a while, the mint stopped making silver dollars. This happened in 1804. Why? Well, many of the US silver dollars were being shipped to other countries and melted for their silver content. So, the government decided to make half dollars instead, and people used these for big purchases. The half dollar became the workhorse coin of American commerce. The mint also started making more small coins, like cents and dimes, which were needed for everyday shopping. The country was growing, and people needed more money to buy and sell goods in their daily lives. This adjustment showed the mint was responsive to the economic needs of the populace. New denominations were also tried. A silver 20-cent piece was introduced in 1875, and it looked a lot like the quarter. People got them mixed up all the time, which caused a lot of confusion. Imagine getting a 20-cent piece as change for a quarter. Because of this problem, the coin was not popular at all, and the mint stopped making it after only 4 years. This was an experiment that failed. It showed that making a good coin was not just about the design. It also had to be practical and easy for people to use. A coin's size and feel were just as important as the pictures on it, a lesson the mint would remember for future coin introductions. Gold and silver were the heart of American money for a long time. The Coinage Act of 1792 established a bimetallic standard, meaning the value of the dollar was defined in terms of both gold and silver. Gold coins were made for large amounts of money. The first gold coins were the $10 eagle, the $5 half eagle, and the $2.50 quarter eagle. These coins were beautiful, featuring the same Liberty designs as the silver coins. Holding a heavy gold eagle felt very different from holding a small copper cent. Gold represented wealth and power. These coins were used by banks, large businesses, and wealthy individuals for major transactions. The designs on the gold coins also evolved. One of the most famous early designs is the turban head, which is what collectors call the draped bust Liberty on gold coins. Her cap looks a bit like a turban. These early gold coins are extremely rare. The mint did not make very many of them. Later in the 1830s, a new design called the classic head was introduced. Then came the Liberty head design in 1838, created by Christian Gobrecht. This design would be used for over 60 years, providing a sense of stability and continuity to the nation's most valuable currency. Silver coins were the money of the people. Cents were for small purchases, but dimes, quarters, and half dollars were used every day. One of the most beloved silver coin designs is the seated Liberty, first used in 1836. The design shows Liberty sitting on a rock, holding a pole with a Liberty cap on it. This image was used on all silver coins, from the half dime to the dollar. For decades, this was the face of American silver. When people thought of a quarter, they pictured the seated Liberty design. It was a familiar and trusted symbol of value in the pockets of millions of Americans going about their daily business. The relationship between gold and silver was tricky. The market price of the metals could change. Sometimes gold was more valuable, and sometimes silver was. If the silver in a dollar coin was worth more than $1, people would melt the coins down. This was a big problem, and the government had to change the amount of silver in the coins several times to keep the coins in circulation. This delicate balancing act between the two metals was a constant challenge for the U.S. Treasury. It showed how global markets could directly affect the money in an American's pocket. A complex dance that continued for most of the 19th century. Some coins, become legends. They're just so rare that they're worth millions of dollars. The most famous of all is the 1804 silver dollar. It's called the King of American coins. Here's the strange thing, the mint didn't actually make any silver dollars, with the date 1804 in that year. They were actually made many years later, in the 1830s. These coins were created as special gifts for foreign rulers. The government wanted to give them complete sets of American coins. But they hadn't made any dollars since 1803, so they made a few with the date 1804. Only 15 of these coins are known to exist today. Each one is a celebrated treasure. Another famous rare coin is the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. The Liberty Head design was supposed to be replaced in 1913 since the new Buffalo nickel was coming out, but somehow, a few Liberty Head nickels were made with the 1913 date. No one is exactly sure how it happened. One story says a mischievous mint employee made them secretly. For many years people wondered if these coins even existed. Then a man named Samuel Brown showed up at a coin convention in 1920 with 5 of them. Today these 5 coins are among the most valuable in the world. Finding one would be like winning the lottery, a dream for any treasure hunter. Sometimes a mistake at the mint can create a rare coin. This happened with the 1955 double die cent. A die is the stamp used to make a coin, and for this coin, one of the dies was made incorrectly. It had a doubled image on it. This mistake wasn't caught right away, and thousands of these cents with a blurry double date and letters were released into circulation in the Boston area. At first, people thought they were fakes, but soon, the news spread. Folks started searching through their pocket change. These error coins became instant collectibles. Today, they're still highly sought after by collectors who just love the thrill of finding a rare mistake. Rarity isn't always about mistakes or secret productions though. The 1895 Morgan silver dollar is a great example. Records show that the Philadelphia Mint struck 12,000 of these dollars for circulation. But where are they? Not a single one has ever been found. It's one of the greatest mysteries in coin collecting. Most experts believe that all 12,000 of them were melted down later, before they ever left the mint's vaults. Only the proof versions, which were made for collectors, exist today. The idea of a lost treasure of 12,000 silver dollars really captures the imagination. It reminds us that the history of coins is just full of secrets and stories waiting to be discovered. War changes everything, and that includes money. During the Civil War, there was a major coin shortage. People were scared. They started hoarding all the gold and silver coins they could find. They were afraid that paper money would become worthless. This made it very hard to do business. How do you make change for a dollar if there are no small coins? To solve this problem, people started using stamps as money. They also used private tokens made by stores. The government even printed paper money in small amounts, like 5 cents and 25 cents. This was called fractional currency. It was a strange time for American money. The government needed a solution. They needed to make coins that people would not hoard. The answer was to change the metals. In 1864, the 1-cent coin was changed. It was no longer made of a thick copper-nickel alloy. It became the thinner bronze coin we are familiar with today. A new 2-cent coin was also introduced. This coin is famous because it was the first U.S. coin to have the motto, "In God We Trust." This was added during the dark days of the Civil War. Many people felt a need to express their faith during such a difficult time. The motto has been on American coins ever since. World War II also caused changes to our coins. Copper was a very important metal for the war. It was needed for shell casings and telephone wire. To save copper for the war effort, the mint had to find something else to make pennies out of. In 1943, they made the cent out of zinc-coated steel. These gray-colored pennies looked very different. People sometimes confused them with dimes. They were also magnetic, which was unusual. After the war ended, the mint went back to using copper for the cent. The 1943 steel cent is a popular collectible. It is a small reminder of how everyone on the home front helped to win the war. Another metal needed for the war was nickel. Nickel is used to make steel stronger, which was important for armor and guns. The 5-cent coin, the nickel, was made of a mix of copper and nickel. To save nickel, the composition of the coin was changed from 1942 to 1945. These wartime nickels were made of an alloy of copper, silver, and manganese. To show that they were different, a large mint mark was placed on the back above the dome of Monticello. This was the first time a P mint mark for Philadelphia was ever used on a U.S. coin. These coins, born of necessity, tell a story of national sacrifice. The beginning of the 20th century was a time of great artistic change for U.S. coins. President Theodore Roosevelt thought our coins were ugly. He wanted them to be beautiful, like the coins of ancient Greece. He hired a famous sculptor named Augustus St. Gaudens to redesign the $10 and $20 gold coins. St. Gaudens created what many people think are the most beautiful American coins ever made. The $20 gold piece shows a powerful image of liberty striding forward. The back shows a majestic eagle flying in the sun. These coins were harder to make, but Roosevelt insisted. He wanted American money to be a work of art. This renaissance of American coinage continued. New designs appeared on the smaller coins too. In 1909, the Lincoln cent was introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was a big change. Before this, no real person had ever been shown on a circulating U.S. coin. The coins always had a symbolic figure of liberty. The Lincoln cent was very popular, and the design is still used today, over 100 years later. This started a new tradition. After the Lincoln cent, it became common to honor famous presidents on our coins, connecting our currency directly to our nation's great leaders. More new designs followed. The Buffalo nickel appeared in 1913. It had a realistic portrait of a Native American on one side. A magnificent American bison, also known as a buffalo, was on the back. This coin was designed by James Earl Fraser. He wanted to create a truly American coin. The design was celebrated for its artistry and its tribute to the American West. Then, in 1916, beautiful new designs for the dime, quarter, and half dollar were released. These were the Mercury dime, the Standing Liberty quarter, and the Walking Liberty half dollar. These coins are all considered classic works of numismatic art. The Great Depression brought a major change. In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt took the country off the gold standard. It became illegal for private citizens to own gold coins. Millions of gold coins were recalled by the government and melted into gold bars. This was the end of an era. Gold coins were no longer used as money in the United States. This event created some of the greatest rarities of the 20th century. A few gold coins from 1933, like the St. Gaudens double eagle, escaped being melted. These few survivors are now worth millions of dollars, symbols of the end of gold's reign in American pockets. If you look in your pocket today, you will see the modern family of U.S. coins. The designs on many of them have been around for a long time. The Lincoln cent has been with us since 1909. The Jefferson nickel first appeared in 1938. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, shortly after President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death, and the Washington quarter has been in use since 1932, first issued to mark the 200th birthday of our first president. These familiar faces have become a part of our daily lives. We see them so often that we might not even notice the history they represent. They are a constant, quiet presence in our nation's commerce. A big change happened to our silver coins in the 1960s. The price of silver metal was rising. Soon, the silver in a dime or a quarter was worth more than the coin's face value. Just like in the old days, people started hoarding the coins. It was becoming a serious problem. So, in 1965, the government made a drastic change. They removed the silver from the dime and the quarter. They were now made of a clad metal. This is like a sandwich. The outside layers are copper nickel. The inside layer is pure copper. You can see this copper stripe on the edge of the coins. The half dollar had its silver content reduced and was later changed to clad as well. In recent years, the U.S. Mint has tried to make coins more interesting again. The biggest program was the 50 State Quarters program. It started in 1999 and lasted for 10 years. Every few months, a new quarter was released. Each one had a special design on the back to honor one of the 50 states. People loved it. It was the most successful coin program in U.S. history. Millions of people started collecting the quarters. It got people looking at their change again. Following that success, the Mint has released other quarter series honoring national parks and famous American women, keeping the public engaged. Today, the role of coins is changing. More people are using credit cards, debit cards, and phones to pay for things. Some people wonder if we will even need coins in the future. The penny costs more to make than it is worth. There is a lot of debate about whether we should stop making it. But coins are still important. They are needed for vending machines, parking meters, and small cash purchases. They are also important for teaching children about money. For now, the familiar clink of coins in a jar or a pocket is still a part of American life, a tradition that connects us to a long and fascinating history. The world of money is changing faster than ever before. We live in a digital age. We can tap a card or a phone to buy groceries. We can send money to friends with an app. This has led many people to ask a serious question: do we still need physical coins? For centuries, coins were the foundation of commerce. They were solid, dependable, and real. You could hold them in your hand. But in an age of instant digital transactions, some see coins as slow and old-fashioned. Several countries, like Canada, have already stopped making their lowest value coin. The debate over the future of the US penny continues to be a hot topic every year. However, writing off coins completely might be too soon. They still serve a vital purpose in our economy. Not everyone has access to digital banking or credit cards. For many people, cash and coins are the only way to pay for essential goods and services. Coins are crucial for small businesses that rely on cash transactions. They're also essential for things like laundromats, toll booths, and charities that collect donations. A completely cashless society could leave some people behind. Coins ensure that everyone can participate in the economy, regardless of their access to technology or banking services. They are a symbol of financial inclusion. The US Mint is also thinking about the future. They are exploring new technologies and materials. They are testing different metal alloys that could make coins cheaper to produce. They are also working on ways to improve security features to prevent counterfeiting, even though this is less of a problem for coins than for paper money. The Mint continues to produce beautiful commemorative coins for collectors. These special coins celebrate important historical events, famous people, and national landmarks. These programs keep the art of coinage alive and connect new generations of Americans to their history through the tangible medium of a coin. So what will the coins in your pocket look like in 50 years? It is hard to say for sure. We may have fewer coins. They might be made of different materials. Some denominations, like the penny, might disappear entirely. But the idea of a coin, a piece of government-guaranteed value that you can hold in your hand, is a powerful one. It has survived for thousands of years. Whether as a tool for everyday purchases, a collector's prized possession, or a small piece of history, coins will likely continue to be a part of the American story. They are more than just money. They are artifacts of our shared journey as a nation.